It is interesting to note that the laws that govern the smallest of particles also govern the biggest of planets and everything in between. Join me as we discover how these laws that govern the Earth also govern everything that concerns you. It's a journey of discovery on the Geek Testament podcast series with Dr. Kola Olatuboso. Join me on this journey and you'll be glad you did. Things happen and things get worse. You have an understanding that if you don't do anything to this, it will get worse. That's where maintenance culture comes in. That's where there's something called preemptory. You preempt it so that it's not until it gets spoiled. Mm-hmm. It's like street lights. If you don't do anything to street lights, billions have been wasted on street lights that nobody maintained, and all of them died one by one. Bulbs will always burn, even if it takes 5 years.
Everything has a half-life.
Good. So, same thing. You're working on a relationship. If left alone, so I mentioned that disorder is the default state of the universe. If left all alone, any marriage has failed. So that's how to think about life, business, work, career. The default setting is that it will fail. The default setting is that entropy will be maximized. Disorder will be maximized. So if you have a business, the default setting is that the business will fail.
Of course.
How many businesses that were existing 200 years ago are existing right now? So, they're gone. Entropy will, now, the reality of what I've also seen in science, entropy will always win. Entropy will always get you. All we can do is to see how we can control it and delay it as much as possible. That marriage will always end. You know why? Even if one does not go and follow fine girl, one will die. But what you want to do, you want to see how to have that aeroplane, even if you service it and keep it in perfect condition, after 100 years, that plane cannot fly again. Mm-hmm. Then you have to park it. Entropy always wins in the end. And that's what we see in science. So, someone said, oh, Nigeria, if we do not do something deliberate and conscious, things will always get worse. Not be me.
It's entropy. That's
entropy. Same thing, career. Oh, you sit down. You just sit down. The world passes you by. Marriage. Oh, you just leave it. It's going to get worse. Things never stays, the same. If it stayed the same, it would have not been a problem. But the second law of thermodynamics says that it spontaneously tends towards maximizing that chaos. So if it was 1% chaos yesterday, by today is 5%. By tomorrow is 10%. Keyword, spontaneous. That means if you do not do anything, nothing will get better. And prayer doesn't count. Prayer just equips you to make things better. And I gave an analogy one day that you see a drainage that is filled with nonsense and dirt. But how much of prayer can clean that gutter or that can sweep the floor? And as a people, as a nation, we love it. I love it too. It comforts me. I love to pray. Even though the prayer self, like Malian people praying. I'm a brother, but prayer prayer just changes the people that change things. It helps you. Nigeria has been praying for years, and things have gotten worse. You know why? It's following the second law of thermodynamics, spontaneously. Prayer is not doing something. Prayer is preparing to do something. So if you pray and you don't do, it's going to get worse. The second law of thermodynamics will not be broken. Yeah. Same thing with career. You sit down, you don't even try. Now, remember, for you to even do something, you have to overcome inertia. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it in our next episode. Inertia is inbuilt into, it's also a law. It's Newton's first law of motion. Yeah. A body will remain in constant motion, or at rest, until it is acted upon by an external force. You sit down there, it's never going to work until you do something. And if you don't do something, it's going to get worse and worse and worse in keeping with the second law of thermodynamics. So if we understand the science behind all these things, then you realize that, wow, success is not even final. The fact that you succeeded today doesn't mean that, because entropy will keep.
Yeah, you have to maintain that success.
To even maintain it alone is a lot of work. Because failure, remember, is the default setting of the universe. So, what we try to do on the Geek Testament is not to reinvent the wheel, but to just broaden the perspective of what we already know, but bringing the scientific basis to give evidence. Now, this is the generation that believes in science. We don't believe in prayer. I'm not talking about Nigerians. We're talking about humanity.
Everybody's asking questions.
People are asking questions. This is the generation. They will ask you. You said that we are supposed to go to the sky. Daddy, we are flying in the sky. We're in a plane. We can't see nothing. And I'm like, shut up. I mean, I don't have anything to say. So, if we do not bring our thinking to back it up with the evidence, especially with the scientific evidence, I think in another couple of years, we're probably just going to lose an entire swathe of humanity who no longer just have anything that is guiding them. So, Sharon, so how is it going to work? Now that you realize that if you just leave yourself all alone, you're not just going to stay there. It's actually going to get worse. So how does someone, get above this and get ahead of this?
That's a very, very important question, because I think everybody at certain points is trying to overcome something.
Yeah.
So let me just talk about my own personal experiences and how I've tried to overcome some challenges or when entropy happens in my life. So for me, one of the problems that I know that I have and I recognize is procrastination. So how do I overcome that? Number one, I try to note the things that I need to do. I need to know that, okay, I need to do 1, 2, and 3. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something very complicated.
Yeah.
It could just literally be starting at a particular time.
And now with this discussion, if you don't do anything, it's going to get worse.
Of course.
Good.
Of course. It's the same thing we're talking about. I'm trying to maintain my weight. So I know that if I just, let me just join the rest and just let it go, it will get worse. I'll gain
it's
more
never
weight.
good. Yeah, it's not even going to stay there. It's going to
Because
get
a few
worse.
people will be like, every time you're on a diet, every time you're doing, and I'm like, yeah, I have to do that. It has to be constant, even if I know that I'm going to have some drawbacks and maybe some issues along the way. But I still have to wake up the next day and go on.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's
but
against
it has to
it's
be
against
done.
the grain of the universe, but you have to
It
do
has
it.
to be done.
Yeah.
So I just think, just for me, timing is very important.
Yeah.
Set a time and start by that time. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to
Just start.
do it. Just literally
overcome inertia.
Just do it.
Edith Young, anything?
Yeah, I think it's very important that I say this because I believe that we as individuals, we create our own lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, we create our own lives. So like I mentioned, for me the challenge had always been being stuck at the planning phase. So what I began to do is I began to understand. I mean,
And I think prayer is also at the stage of planning.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's
They are in the same caucus.
Yeah, exactly.
If you like plan, it's still in your head. You have not done anything.
True.
You have not done anything.
Not done anything.
Just to add, it said 10 frogs were on the ledge. 10 frogs planned to jump into the pond.
Right.
How many frogs are still on the ledge?
Planned.
All 10.
The whole thing.
Plan is just
The whole thing is still
they
there.
are still there. Good.
So just to buttress your point, so I'm thinking about planning as strategy and tactics. So you have a football coach who has a team in the dressing room, and all he's talking about is this is how we want to beat Arsenal today. Strategy.
Hey, don't say, hey, wait. No Arsenal slander will be tolerated here. Don't use anyone. Don't use Arsenal. They're
Okay,
beating them enough.
But the point is, so he's talking. I mean, he's stuck at discussing with the team strategy and tactics. But now he's not talking about execution.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not executing. They're stuck at
Yeah, and just like beyond football, that's where most of us are. A lot of people are not even planning. They're not even thinking about planning. There's planning. There's thinking about planning. But even the best plan is still the plan. You have not done anything.
Yeah, anything.
And remember, if you do not do something, it will keep getting
Get
worse.
It's true.
And the one that really is dear to me is the situation of our country. Oh, can Nigeria get better? Yes, but it's going to take a lot of work. But what if we don't do anything? It's going to get worse.
So this is it, yeah. With entropy, controlling, or say, let's think about creation. There was entropy, like rightly said in the Bible. Now, the final thought was, what do I want to achieve by controlling entropy? Order.
Yeah, order, yes.
Perfect. So How many of us actually sit to think, what's the end?
Yeah.
You know, where's the final destination with this thing? It doesn't necessarily have to be the very final. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the final destination that begins another journey. But we don't push ourselves to think about what's that first step I need to take to get to
Yeah.
this point.
And when you mention order, as we end, you know, there's the difference between developed societies and anarchic societies is order.
Right.
You have people don't just do anything anyhow. You can't just go and pee. Someone said, I like Nigeria. I can pee anywhere. No, but I went abroad and he wanted to
No,
pee.
but even
And
in
he said that
Nigeria,
he should go and pay.
You can't pee anywhere these days.
But at least in Nigeria, you know, it's
I
like
know
going
there's
to
more
us.
leeway here.
But in Nigeria, you can pee anywhere, do anything anywhere.
I've said that
So
first.
anywhere you have order, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Someone said in Switzerland, the traffic light stopped working, and everywhere just became chaotic. That's what I said. Order and chaos are interchangeable. It's easy. It's harder to keep the traffic lights on, but easy for them to just go off. So if you don't want your traffic lights or whatever lights that is guiding you to go off, you have to keep at it. You have to keep at it. You have to keep at it. So I think there's a lesson in this for everyone. And there's a scientific basis for why things never get better until we get to work. And even when you get to work, it was things, 1,000 things. It's like everything is conspiring to make things go wrong. So once you understand that, I think we can manage things better. So when things are going wrong, you won't say it's village people. It can be village
No,
people.
exactly.
It can be village people.
Exactly. That's what I was trying
Yes,
to say.
but mostly it's just entropy at work.
Absolutely.
Village people are also dealing with entropy too.
Village people are part of it.
I believe
They are
village
a
people.
component
know.
of
Please, before
entropy.
village people watch this show.
Anyways,
Yeah. As we round it up.
as we round it off, I think achieving order, you know, in a state of entropy, compartmentalization is very important. You know, identifying what the final goal is, cutting into bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You know, executing.
That's good. So break it down and get it done. Sharon, final words?
So for me, just do it.
Yeah.
That's just what I'll say.
Just Nike. They must pay us.
Literally, just do it. Even if it seems like you're not ready.
Don't think too much, have you?
Don't
just
think
do
too much.
am.
Just do it.
Okay. So just go for that degree. Just make that application. Just start that sit up. Okay. I don't know about that sit up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. We understand that the world is governed by laws. Second law of thermodynamics describes how entropy governs things and how we are all dealing with it at every time. And it will never stop. Even when people die, entropy still breaks down the body, you know. And so we might as well just understand the laws and, you know, align accordingly. It's been a fantastic time with you all, and see you next episode. This is the Geek Testament podcast series with Dr. Kola. Bye-bye.